Now, they both hail from Delhi. They're both passionate about the sport, and they're always at the front if there is any kind of confrontation. In case you haven't figured it out whom we're talking about, it is Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir. The two names are literally every cricket fan's mouth right now. Now, the two nearly came to blows on Monday after Kohli's Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated Lucknow Super Giants, whom Gambhir is mentoring. Now, the dramatic sequence of events saw the duo exchange heated words and nearly coming to blows before they were separated by their respective teammates. Now, the incident landed both of them in trouble, with the BCCI fining them both 100% of their match fee. The visuals which we saw explain the story in itself, but we now bring to you what words were spoken when the duo clashed. It all started when Gautam Gambhir dragged Lucknow all-rounders Mayors away from Kohli and told the RCB superstar, "What were you saying to him?" An already agitated Virat Kohli retorted, "Why are you coming in between when I haven't told you anything?" Now, this response by his former national teammate fired up Gautam Gambhir, who in return said, "You abuse my player, which is like abusing my family." Now, not holding back, Virat Kohli told Gambhir, "Then take care of your family." Now, before the duo were taken away from each other, an angry Gautam Gambhir apparently told Virat Kohli, "Now should I learn from you on what to do?" Now, former cricketers and experts have also condemned the behavior of the seasoned cricketers, seeking stricter action be taken against them, including suspension for a brief period. Others, though, have tried to calm tempers. Mirror now, of course, wants to know your views on if Kohli and Gambhir should face stricter action. Call us on the number on your screen below. My colleague Karishma joins me live on the broadcast for more on this. Karishma, good evening. We clearly know when we talk about Gautam Gambhir and Virat Kohli, they are aggressive, they're very passionate about the sport, but this is, of course, snowballed into something else ultimately, because these are players who are regarded. And of course, if you look at the larger aspect of it, somewhere down the line, you're also drawing an example of sportsmanship. Over to you to tell us how this is, now snowballed into a controversy.
Well, it's absolutely, Nivedhana. This has possibly become the biggest controversy of IPL 2023 so far. Now, of course, nobody knows what the exact words were when they were spoken between Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir, but it does not set a right example for the sport that we often call the gentleman's game. So clearly, that is where the line should be drawn. And it all started in the 16th over with Naveen ul Haq and Virat Kohli and a few words being exchanged here and there. Mohammad Siraj also hitting the ball at the stumps, and from there on it led to a point where Virat Kohli was having a chat with Kyle Myers, and then Gautam Gambhir coming and dragging him, and then almost coming to blows, Virat Kohli and Gautam Gambhir. And one that has been following cricket knows that the Gautam Gambhir and Virat Kohli rivalry is nothing new. It dates back to when they used to play for Delhi, and then when they used to play in IPL as well, and Gautam Gambhir used to be the KKR captain in 2012 or in 2013. They've had a very ugly fight at the IPL ground itself. And after that, when Gautam Gambhir took retirement, he's taken pot shots at Virat Kohli when he was going through a low phase in his captaincy, saying that he's lucky to be a captain, or that RCB, is great to have Virat Kohli as a captain, even though he's going through a low phase. So all of this is not the right example that possibly youngsters would want to see when we talk about cricket, when we talk about role models. We can't really blame one or the other, because the BCCI also, giving equal punishment to the both of them, Gautam Gambhir and Virat Kohli, both being sanctioned 100% of their match fees. But we will have to really wait and see if there's going to be any statement from Virat or Gambhir after that. In fact, after this entire incident, there was a dressing room video from the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and Virat Kohli was very categorical in saying that if you can't give it, then don't give it. If you can't take it, then don't give it. And he was actually gesturing about Gautam Gambhir when he had done this gesture to the crowd at M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, and Virat Kohli had just returned the favor at Lucknow Super Giants. So there is going to be no end to this, because at the end of it, they are, known each other for a decade now. They've played for Delhi together. They come from the same part of Delhi, which is West Delhi, and it just seems to have snowballed into a huge, huge controversy. But one can only hope that these sort of scenes are not witnessed again in IPL.
Right, Karishma, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and taking our viewers through everything that really transpired there. But for the moment, we leave it at that. Thank you very much. I'm also joined in by Chandresh Narayan, who is a cricket author and broadcaster, former media officer, and Vedam Jaishankar, who is a sports journalist, joining me on the show to talk to us more about this controversy. Good evening to the both of you. Thank you for taking time out and speaking to us on Mirror Now. Chandresh Narayan, I'll come to you first. You know, whenever we speak about the game of cricket, it's always been known as the gentleman's game, but this behavior is anything but that. Your first viewpoint before we get talking about, what is everyone's perspective on this?
Thanks a lot for having me on your show. First of all, I think that this was bound to happen after what happened in Bangalore between Gambhir and the crowd there in Bangalore. And Gambhir, it's really unbecoming of a senior person like Gambhir to be actually behaving like that. He's also a member of parliament. We keep forgetting that he's a member of parliament, and it was absolutely uncalled for. And I think that the time to take punishment has passed. I think that we saw last year Rishabh Pant losing his cool and coming onto the asking his players to walk off the field. A couple of years back, we saw Mahendra Singh Dhoni taking on the umpires. The BCCI really should have put a full stop to that then and there. Now it is too late. This is just one of the many issues that we have seen over the years with regards to player behavior. And it also stems from the standard of umpiring that we have had, the standard of the standard of the officials in charge of the game, which has resulted in all this. I just feel that the whole matter leaves a very bad taste. And like Karishma said, a lot of people are watching these games. It sets a very bad example because one is a certified great in Virat Kohli. The other is a massive personality, a member of parliament. They need to be putting up a better account of themselves when on a cricket field, even if it is after a cricket match. I think that is very paramount. And I think that the 100% match fee makes for nothing. You know, in today's day and age, for a cricketer like Virat or someone like that, it's just a matter of one more endorsement and they'll make up for the loss of match fee. I think more than match fee, I would say punishment, but it's too late now. It should have been done a couple of years back when Mahendra Singh Dhoni walked onto the field or when Rishabh Pant behaved irrationally last year. I put all of them in the same category.
Right, Chandresh. I'm going to interject you there. We're going to come back and get talking and also get, of course, Vedam's viewpoint. But I understand that we have our viewers also joining us on the broadcast. We have N. Murari calling in from Mumbai. Murari, good evening. Go ahead and tell us what you think. All right. We also have Pramod calling from Bengaluru. Pramod, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint. All right, we'll try going across to our viewers as well to get a quick sense of what they think. Vedam, I'm coming to you on this. Of course, Narayan did give us his opening viewpoint about this. How do you view it? Because, of course, like he said, it's a little too late. Do you believe that? Also with the fact that now Sunil Gavaskar has waded into this controversy, stating that asking them for a match fee is not enough. It has to be more than that. In fact, he's also asked for a brief period of suspension. Do you think that could possibly become an example for a way to go forward in terms of the game?
Look, let's get real in this case, okay? Every sport, every event needs some talking point. And this is the talking point of 2023 IPL. Let's not kid ourselves. It's very rich coming from Gavaskar for what he has done throughout his career, for him to now demand for suspensions, etc., etc. What exactly is Gautam Gambhir mentoring? What is his job? I mean, if a mentor has to come onto the middle of the field and get into a scrap, then he's not much of a mentor. Sorry. So I don't know what exactly his role is.
Apologies for it. I'm going to come back to you, get your viewpoint about this same. I understand I have N. Murari joining me on the broadcast once again. Murari, good evening. Please go ahead and tell us your viewpoint.
Yeah. See, both Gambhir and Virat Kohli, they are supposed to be role model. They cannot behave like this. So strict action should be taken against them. Okay? Whoever it may be. Because hundreds of youngsters are watching them. So strict action is required. Okay? Okay.
Right, Murari. Thank you very much for sharing with us your viewpoint. I understand I have Pramod from Bengaluru also joining us. Pramod, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as a cricket fan. How do you look at this?
Good evening. I'm Pramod from Bangalore. Okay, I look at it this way. Both of them, they are not covering themselves in glory. One of them is an active player and another is a retired administrator in the game. He is also an MP in the parliament. So both of them, they are supposed to be role models and definitely they have not covered themselves in glory. And if these kind of role models, if we are going to have, then I'm really sorry for all the children who are going to watch them and learn from them. It's such a disgrace to the game, and both of them have definitely not covered themselves in glory. As a senior citizen and as a follower of cricket for more than 50 years, I'm ashamed to see this kind of behavior from such people, particularly the active player and captain, Virat Kohli. Thanks for giving me a listening.
Right, Pramod. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing that viewpoint. Let me take that same point across to Vedam. Vedam, of course, you were talking about the fact that, of course, in the IPL, we've seen many heated arguments as well. Like you did say, this is probably a talking point. But to draw perspective from what Pramod just said, there are youngsters who look up to Virat Kohli, to Gautam Gambhir as well. Is this something that we would ideally want young aspirants to be looking at in terms of sportsmanship as well?
Let's look at Gambhir as a role model for an aspiring mentor. Is that what you want to be? I mean, you can be a mentor. You can take this whole thing into the dressing room and talk in the dressing room. The same things which you have said. You don't need to take it to the middle of the ground. But I think what has happened is there is a buzz now about the tournament. You know, it's been set alight. And every event actually needs these kind of talking points. Whether you like it or not, it's a marketing man's delight that he's got some sort of talking points going. Otherwise, at the end of 2 months, yes, you have a winner, you have a loser, and that's it. But that's not the idea of tournament. You need a lot of events. You need talking points. You need a buzz about the tournament. Even when Djokovic was refused at the Australian Open, they could have stopped him from boarding the plane. They allowed him to come to Australia and then made a big drama of it. But the whole thing is it set the Australian Open alight. Now, whether you like it or not, that's what we're looking for today. And IPL itself is one big tamasha where you need a lot of buzz points.
Vedam, I have to interject you again. We do understand we have a lot of callers who would like to share their viewpoint. I understand I have Sumit Chatterjee calling us from Kolkata. Sumit, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
Good evening, madam. They should be banned because the fighting will spread to the spectators also. There are a lot of supporters. This has happened in the football grounds also. They should be banned. They should be an example to the cricket society also. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Sumit Chatterjee. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Let me take that point across to Chandresh Narayan, of course, who stays with us to continue talking about more about this. Of course, Vedam had a different viewpoint. Chandresh, how do you look at it? Because, of course, we have cricket fans also calling in and telling us their viewpoint. They clearly differ from Vedam at some point of time here, thinking that this is a disgraceful kind of episode that you see. But like Vedam says, it's marketing strategy, probably a delight, because it has become the talking point of IPL 2023, if that's one prism, if you're looking at it that way.
I agree with Mr. Vedam, and I think that it's much ado about nothing. Like he said, it's all very well now for everyone to just sit back and pontificate, especially the former players. But they were all, mom, like I keep talking about, this is not the only issue or only time we've had such a problem in the IPL. Just last year, we had Rishabh Pant behaving irrationally. Couple of years back, Mahendra Singh Dhoni came onto the field to take on the umpires. Where was the BCCI then, or where were all these former players then commenting about these issues? No one said anything. Then everybody was quiet. Now suddenly everybody wants to pontificate. Doesn't make for much sense in my view. I could be wrong. And I think that it's too late in the day, and what is done is done. They have been fined. I don't agree with the fine because it makes no sense in today's day and age. But we have to just carry on with it and move on. They have moved on. We should also move on, I think.
All right. Chandesh, I'm going to come back to you. I understand I have another caller joining us, Parashuram from Delhi. Parashuram, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint. Chandresh and Vedam would also like to know what that is.
Good evening, and thanks for having me on the...
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much for hearing me out. I don't understand why is the hula-hoo over the fight between two cricketers who are bad boys of cricket. They are bad boys you will always have in cricket, and they would still be there. Even if you ban these guys or somebody.
All right. We also thank you, Parshuram. We also have Murli calling us from Delhi. Murli, go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Yes, good evening. This incident which has taken place is, I think it is blown out of proportion. And Kohli was in the field, and Gautam Gambhir is playing a different role totally. And there was no need to highlight and glamorize this issue to this extent. Even if this incident has taken place, this has taken place on the field between two players. Here, there has nothing to do with the managers and other people coming into and adding spice to the issue. Doesn't really make sense. It is just a glamorizing strategy, that's all.
Right, Murli. Thank you very much for joining us and giving us your viewpoint as well. We have Mirza calling us from Hyderabad. Good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
Yeah, my viewpoint is I just want Gautam Gambhir to learn something from Saurav Ganguly. The patience he has, how he used to sit quiet. This is not the way cricket is going on.
Right. Thank you very much for sharing with us your viewpoint as well. Let me take that point across to Vedam. Vedam, for you who's covered, of course, sports journalism for so long, is that one of the pointers that we can talk about how, youngsters today, cricketers today have a completely different approach and attitude as to what we used to see earlier?
I'm not so sure, because earlier there was Sunil Gavaskar who tried to take the team and walk off from a test match or try to bat left hand. So I think it's always gone on. Look, let's be honest about this whole thing. Good people like you and me, we play cricket and we go home. That's it. These are outliers. They are the ones who really carry on and play for India or whatever and make a name for themselves. You can't expect them to have a typically good look image or a good look character like you and I have. I mean, it doesn't work that way. If they were like that, they would be like you and me. They wouldn't be playing for India. You need that something extra. And that extra can come in so many ways. In this case, they are absolute outliers. And these are the guys who really shine. And when the chips are down, when they are confronted, when there's a toe-to-toe, eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, they don't back off. They're there, they fight. And that's the characteristic that makes them. And that's because of that you get runs, you score runs, you become a success. And you have to understand that Kohli is not going to back down. It's not in his character. If it was in his character, he probably would have played some 5 tests or 6 tests. But that's not the case. He is a success worldwide. And, if you have to really look at a guy like Gautam Gambhir, who during his playing days was an outstanding success, but he is over. He has finished playing. Now he's got to bring in a lot of maturity and bring that into his, mental makeup and into his game. And he has to be what a role other mentors, not for other cricketers. That's over. For other mentors. And like I said earlier, this same conversation, he could have had it in the hotel, he could have had it in the dressing room, he could have it in the privacy of some other place. Why did he have to do it in the middle of the ground in front of television cameras? It doesn't, if he's looking to get some brownie points out of this, well, I think he's done very, very poorly for himself. But let's not kid ourselves. You take any sport you want.
Right, Vedam, I have to interject you again. I understand we have more viewers who are joining us. Shankar from Gujarat, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your viewpoint that, of course, Chandresh as well as Vedam would want to know too.
Yeah, I was telling that as an idol player, Virat Kohli has done wrong, but Gautam Gambhir has started, not Virat Kohli has started.
All right, Shankar. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Ashok from Puducherry joining us. Ashok, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Good evening. I find Gambhir as a manager cannot walk onto the field to fight with the players. It is between the players fighting, they will get this penalized or warnings or whatever it is. What does the managers have got to do? Tomorrow the owners will jump into the ground, franchisee owners. Is this not too much of Gambhir doing it as a member of parliament? First of all, these member of parliament should be banned from coming to the cricket field. This is a sport. This is not politics.
Right, Ashok. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Now, of course, like how Vedam also did point out, this is not the first time that we've seen ugly spats in the largest sphere of things in Indian Premier League. Remember, there was an incident of Harbhajan Singh slapping Srishant as well, but he's waded into this controversy. Let's listen into what Harbhajan had to say.
पर ये लड़ाई देखिए अब यहाँ तो रुकेगी नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है कि ये यहाँ ही रुक जाएगी, क्योंकि इसके बारे में बातचीत तो बहुत होगी। किसने क्या किया, उसने क्या किया, ये बात की बातें हैं, सबका पक्ष जो है वो धीरे धीरे बाहर आएगा। बट बतौर प्लेयर, मैं एक ऐसा खिलाड़ी जिसने इस चीज़ को खुद जिया हूँ, और एक किस्सा जो 2008 में हुआ श्रीशांत के साथ मेरा, ऐसी ही कुछ चीज़ हो गई थी वहाँ पे भी, तो इतना माहौल गर्मा गया था। तो मैं देखिए आज 15 साल के बाद उस चीज़ को लेके अभी भी शर्मिंदा हूँ, क्योंकि ये जो जेस्चर्स है ना, ये सही नहीं है।
All right, we have Godfrey D'Souza from Mumbai also joining us on the broadcast. Godfrey, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Gautam Gambhir. Since Gautam Gambhir is a mentor, he has no work to come on the cricket ground. So Gautam Gambhir should be blamed for this, and not Virat Kohli. We fully support Virat Kohli. And you see the way Virat Kohli was talking to him. He was talking coolly to him. And Gautam Gambhir was getting angry on him. That's all, man.
Right, Godfrey, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint. Chandresh, let me come to you quickly to summarize, the fact that we had all these callers calling in. Of course, they've taken a stand whether they think Gambhir or Virat was right. But there was also a reaction that we heard of Harbhajan Singh speaking about the previous episode that involved him. And now, of course, he's wading into this as well. How do you view it? Because he said he is ashamed of even when he thinks of that past incident, which was yet another controversy that all of us do remember.
Yeah, so he's weighed in, he's learnt his lesson, and he's now talking from his own experience, so which is good. But like I said, it's much ado about nothing. Nothing is going to happen in this. No one's going to be further penalized. The BCCI would like this matter to end ASAP. The broadcasters would want the matter to end ASAP. Kohli and Gambhir would like the matter to end ASAP. No amount of bro beating from all of us or chest thumping from all of us is going to make any difference. And no further action is going to be taken. Life will go on. We have the next match going on at Lucknow, and Gambhir is at the ground. So things carry on, and I don't think much of a difference is going to happen now in the rest of the games.
Right, Chandresh. Stay with me. I'm going to come back to you. I understand we have more viewers who are joining us. Pradhan from Odisha has called in. Pradhan, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint. All right, we have Michael from Bengaluru calling us. Michael, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
This is Michael from Bangalore. My thinking is this.
Yes, Michael, go ahead.
The question is not whether. My question is not whether Kohli or Gambhir is wrong. My question is. My point is Gambhir is actually in the politics. My understanding is he's an MP. This is not his arena at this point. And I somehow don't see that he has the basis to be here getting involved in such altercation with a player who is full-time in this one. Having said that, both of them being tall players, I think there should be a role model for the younger players. That is something not welcome. And I trust that both of them, come together after this.
Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Let me take all those points across to Vedam. Vedam, of course, these are cricket fans and they've decided whose side that they want to take. But one thing that is, of course, coming out of this is all these franchises have mentors also now. So in the larger scheme of things, how do you view that? Because like one of the callers said, today it's the mentor who's walking in onto the field. Tomorrow it will be the IPL franchise owners.
Yeah, I think the day is not far off when we'll have mentors for mentors. You'll have a mentor to mentor the mentor, especially if people are going to run into the field and make a nuisance of themselves. Yeah, look, we need these talking points. Whether you like it or not, we need these talking points. It creates a buzz about the event, and as long as they don't cross a line, when I meant cross a line, get physical, like Harbhajan Singh, that is not on. He's crossed a line. As long as they don't cross a line, then I think it's perfectly fine. Yes, the board has to pull them up. The IPL Governing Council has to pull them up because appearances matter. They have to give it appearance. It's a family sport, and we cannot allow this to happen. So that kind of match fee or whatever they are deducting as fine is all right. But then you also have to make sure that you emphasize what is the match fee for a mentor. If Gambhir is being hit with a match fee fine, what is the match fee that he is getting? Let's be upfront about that too. Just like you have salary caps and things like that. I think IPL is still evolving. You need to evolve so many things, not just the conduct of the sport, but also the conduct of the cricketers, etc., etc., etc. I don't hold anything against doing this. Like I said, as long as you don't cross a line, it's perfectly fine. You don't get physical, it's perfectly fine doing these things. But whether getting into the field and doing that, now there are certain no-go areas. And I think the field should be a no-go area for everybody except the players and the umpires. Like one of your listeners said, yes, even for tomorrow, a franchise owner could get onto the field and make chaos out of it. Now that would become terrible, Yeah, and like Mahendra Singh Dhoni the other day running onto the field, that's not on. It's not called for. And those are the things that IPL need to control. Like I said, it is evolving. The conduct of the sport is evolving, but you also need to set parameters and standards for a whole lot of other things. And hopefully we will have that. And let's not forget,
Absolutely.
let's not remove all these things. Let us not make it a staid, plain, simple sport. Even tennis has got a lot of its brilliance. Like McEnroe said, he called it a rage for perfection, what he did. We have had Maradona, who's another bad boy. There's so many of them. They actually bring flavor into the sport. They bring a lot of their own character into the sport, and they enrich the sport that way. Otherwise, we'll just have some dull machine types people playing the sport.
Vedam, I have to
And I think
interject you there. It's a very interesting point. I'm also going to get Chandresh to talk to us about that. But before that, we have more viewers who would like to share their opinion. I understand we have Suresh calling in from Bengaluru. Suresh, go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
I think we have to keep in mind that, sports is a competitive game, and you don't see this only in cricket. You see it also in other sports. More importantly, in a prestigious event like IPL, these are things going to happen. But unless there's a process, as one of your panelists was mentioning, unless there's a process in place for these kind of activities, if you cross the line, people should know that I will be penalized or my team will be penalized. If they don't have that, then where are they going, in which direction? So I think as a rule, there should be something which should be installed in IPL in terms of how I behave as a player. Though it is a competitive game and people can definitely go the other side. That's my point. Thank you.
Right, Suresh. Thank you very much for joining us. We understand I have another caller calling in from Bengaluru. Raj Gopal, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
Good evening,
yes, Raj
madam.
Gopal, go ahead and share with us your viewpoint, and also request you to reduce the volume of your television channel in the background.
Sachin Tendulkar, then came MSD. Now it is the era of Virat Kohli. Hello.
Right, go ahead.
Okay, I will reduce it. See, good evening, madam. Are you able to hear me? Hello, are you hearing?
Yes, Raj Gopal, good evening.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, madam, I was telling.
Yes, Raj Gopal, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
We had lot of great players in India, starting from Sunil Gavaskar. Then came Sachin Tendulkar. Then we had MSD. Now it is the era of Virat Kohli. Are you hearing, madam? Hello?
Yes, Rajgopal, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, now it is the era of Virat Kohli. The very presence of Virat Kohli makes all the spectators to stand on their feet. There is no point in Gautam Gambhir entering into the field and arguing with the players, the greatest player of Virat Kohli. I feel it all happens in the game of cricket, and it should happen between only the players, not the mentor and the Virat Kohli. So I feel the problem lies with Gautam Gambhir. Whatever Virat Kohli has told is correct, and it should end there only. That should not continue. Thank you, madam.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. I understand we have Wensley calling us from Pune. Wensley, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Good evening, ma'am. This thing, I don't think this is going on for the very first time. This is, I think, the second time where these two have had an argument on field. As many people said that, Gautam Gambhir should not come onto the field. I mean, even I have the same opinion. He's only a head coach and not anything else. So why should he come onto the field and talk to the captain of a certain team and then, try and show his anger onto, the captain? Whatever is there, it should be kept to a side. You can do that later. Don't come onto the field and disrupt the full game. Why is that happening? I think Gautam Gambhir should be pulled up for this first. I think he's trying to, show his political strength. This is just my opinion. It could be that he's trying to show his political strength there and, trying to show that, yes, I am there. This is wrong. These things should be taken up and, either the BCCI or whoever is in charge of the IPL, this should be very clear that no coaches are allowed to come onto the field. As simple as that.
Right, Wensley. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint. I understand we have Hassan calling us from Mumbai. Good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your viewpoint.
Hi, Nivedhana. Good evening. My point on related to this is, first of all, what I feel like this is all is pre-planned. Because if such kind of fight won't be happen, then I don't think so that the IPL would get that much of charm. Like we can see in English Premier League, such kind of things happens. So definitely maybe someone from inside would be needed, such kind of point. So, like nowadays this topic has become so hot in India, entire people are talking about this. And if we come to the actual point, I would say, Gambhir was right at his place. What he said to Kohli, this is his team and that is my family. And Kohli, we have seen, if I take Naveen-ul-Haq, it's not the first time Naveen-ul-Haq has been involved in this kind of a sport. I have seen him involved with Thisara Perera in Sri Lanka Premier League, with Shahid Afridi and Mohammad Amir also in Sri Lanka Premier League. So Naveen-ul-Haq, if we look at his record, he's only just played for 2 to 3 years and he's involved with so many such kinds of incidents. So he should also make sure that such kind of things should not happen in the field. And we look at the Virat Kohli. See, at the end of the day, Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli because he has this kind of aggression. Because he feels if I won't be having aggression, then I won't be that Kohli. So at the end of the day, what matters is which team wins, which team score good. That is the most important. So we should just, I would just like to say that Gambhir and Virat should just sit together and just close this topic.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. I understand we have John from Bengaluru also joining us. John, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Madam, actually what happens is what they say, especially in cricket matches, what happens in the dressing rooms stays in the dressing room. So what happens in the field, it's common. People they fight because of the tension in the game. And Gambhir is an outsider. He cannot enter the field, not only in cricket. Take, for example, any football or any matches, the coach's place is outside the field. So the root cause of all this problem is Gambhir, and it's really escalating. So I think Gambhir, they should make a law that the coaches, only the players who are there supposed to be in the ground, only they should be in the ground. Others, they have to be outside. Thank you, ma'am.
Right, John. Thank you very much for joining us. I understand we have Captain Jaspal calling us as well from Rohtak. Captain Jaspal, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Good evening. You see, it's a gentleman's game. So all of them should be clean shaven. Any doubt about it? Secondly, it is not tempers or nothing. It is the money involved in advertisement. These senior players, they have a caucus. How to steal the limelight, how to bully, how to be around. These people, for example, Gambhir had no business to be on the field. Show such an aggressive posture as if he's going in war with another nation. This is the advertisement, money, caucus, and what have you. The conduct is totally unbecoming of a gentleman, unbecoming of a cricketer, and what can we say? The lesser we say, better we will be. Thank you.
Right, Captain Jaspal. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. I understand we have Madhav calling us from Mumbai as well. Madhav, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint. Pretty sure Chandresh as well as Vedam would also want to listen into that.
Yeah, I would like to say that Gautam Gambhir is throwing his weight around just because he's an MP. He has no business to be on the ground. It's only players should be on the ground. Both the team players. Whatever he may have any differences or altercations can happen outside the field. As a mentor, he's not supposed to enter the playing area. That's what I'd like to say. Hello?
Right, Madhav. Thank you very much for sharing with us your viewpoint. I understand we have Ruben calling us from Bengaluru. Ruben, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as well.
Yeah, good evening. I feel, Mr. Gambhir had no business to get onto the ground, and the way he celebrated the loss of Bangalore when RCB lost in Bangalore. So it was very aggressive gesture, and the complete behavior of the team was very aggressive. This was the return time, and Kohli was doing it on its own only. So I personally feel there's nothing wrong. Aggression has to be there in a game, and Mr. Gambhir shouldn't have entered the ground and behaved the way he's behaved.
Right, Ruben. Thank you very much for sharing with us your point of view as well. These are, of course, all our listeners, viewers on Mirror Now talking to us about what they think about the Kohli-Gambhir fight. We have Pankaj Tripathi calling us from Gurgaon. Sanjay Tripathi, beg your pardon. Sanjay, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your point of view as well.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. Very good evening. Please accept my gratitude to the Mirror Now for putting such a wide open discussion on these two people. Primarily, I want to share see, these people basically are the public figures, and many of us are really following their approach. Sadly, yesterday my son said that, Papa, why these people are fighting regularly? I was like, Beta, what to say? The fighting is something which is happening all around, ma'am. Whether you look at the parliament, whether you look at any of the legislative assembly, whether you look at any of the news channels where the open discussions are going on. So sadly, this fighting is going everywhere, and we really don't know how to protect our child and say that please behave properly, be adequate, be obedient, and be disciplined. So these things are really challenging for the people like us who actually, trying to be cool in the society, to spread the positive news around. But sadly, these people like these are, putting such negative examples, which is so sad for all of us, for entire community. That's my thought,
Right, Sanjay. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint. I understand we have Lokesh calling us from Mumbai. Lokesh, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your point of view.
Yeah, basically, what I think, Mr. Virat was on the field, so they should not have been there at the place. Because, and what I want to say, he is an MP. He should sit in Parliament and speak about the issues. He should not be on the field. This is my view.
Right, Lokesh. Thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective on this controversy that, of course, has snowballed in IPL 2023. I understand we have more callers joining us. RK Jain from Gurgaon. Mr. Jain, thank you very much for taking the time out. Go ahead and share with us your point of view.
My view is that since this is a gentleman's game, so both should be terminated from the cricket henceforth.
Right, Mr. Jain. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint. We have more callers who are joining us. We'll, of course, go to them in a bit to understand what they think about this. Of course, these are all cricket fans who are calling us and talking to us about what they think. Let me take all these points and views across back to Vedam, and, of course, Chandresh also continues to stay with us. Thank you very much for being so patient. But of course, we had many, cricket fans sharing their opinion. Vedam, just quickly to talk about what they were going over, right? One of the callers was speaking about that there are young kids who watch the game. Of course, they're passionate about cricket, but this is something that they say onto the field. Is that a great example to be setting for the younger generation as well?
Look, the cricketer's job is to play the game. If he's setting examples, he's setting examples with his exploits with the bat and ball. That's the example that we're talking about. And any youngster who wants to get in needs to do that. You can't get distracted by these things. Like I said, look at the number of callers you've had, so many. Why is that? Because this is a talking point. There's a buzz about the tournament now. This is a talking point. But this can't be the standard. It can be an exceptional day. It can be an exceptional event, but it can't be an everyday event. An everyday event is what these guys do for a living. Go out there, be fit, play well, and gain accolades for your team. But every now and then these kind of things will happen because, look, they're passionate about the sport, and it's a passionate sport. It is not a physical sport. It's not a contact sport, as they call it, but it's a good, passionate sport. And if there are so many people calling in, it's proof of the passion that we have for this sport in India. There are so many millions
talking
following
about
it,
more
so
people calling in, Vedam, I'm sorry, I'd have to interject you again. I have Krishnan calling us from Mumbai, and then, of course, I'm going to come back to you. Krishnan, good evening. Please go ahead and share with us your point of view.
Yeah, good evening, madam. We just saw the way these people are fighting. Actually, we expect these are all big players, big leaders. They were to be an icon for all of us. But the way they are reacting to small incidents is very poor on them. Actually, they should be penalized. That's my opinion.
Right, Krishna. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. We have another caller calling us, Ravi from Bengaluru. Ravi, good evening. Go ahead and tell Vedam and me as well what you think.
Well, it's a little tragic, but I don't think you should not make a mountain out of molehill. These things do happen on a cricket field, but I don't know why Gambhir should come into the field. He's not a player, and that's the only reason why I called, because he's in the coaching staff, and coaching staff are not supposed to enter the field of play.
Right, Ravi. Thank you very much for joining us. I understand we have Ramamurthy calling us from Pune. So good evening. Go ahead and share with us your point of view as a cricket fan.
First and foremost thing, that Gambhir should not have entered the field. He is not supposed to enter the field, firstly. And second thing, both of their behavior, the spirit of the game is already lost, totally lost. They should be heavily punished, and it's like almost a street fight.
Absolutely. Hello.
Right, Ramamurthy. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Yes, we did get your viewpoint. I'll, of course, take that over to Vedam in a bit, but I understand I have Shabnam calling us from Mumbai. Shabnam, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your viewpoint as a cricket fan.
मैम मैं ये कहना चाहती थी कि गौतम गंभीर जो फील्ड पे आके ऐसे बोल रहे हैं प्लेयर्स के बीच में, उनको नहीं बोलना चाहिए था, क्योंकि ये तो प्लेयर्स की आपस में वो है, तो उनको वहीं अपने आप फील्ड पे ही सुलझाना चाहिए था, उनको नहीं आना चाहिए था.
Ji Shabnam, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint. I understand we have more callers who are calling in. I have Patil from Bengaluru. Patil, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your point of view as a cricket fan.
Yeah, good evening. So happy to see the discussion blown up so much. Okay, I feel as cricket lovers in India, all of us have to take it just as a passing by event. And my concern goes to both Virat and Gambhir. I think we can leave both of them there. Okay, not escalate it so much. And it is natural that it happens because you have so many followers and fans across India on working with this particular, game. So a request not to blow up so much about the conversation between both of them on the field. Thank you so much.
Right, Patil. Thank you very much for sharing with us your viewpoint as well. We have Ravi from Bengaluru joining us. Ravi, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your point of view as a cricket fan. How do you read into this?
Yeah, good evening. Hi. This is actually slightly an over-aggression which is shown by both the people, actually. Probably to please the crowd or probably to, this is what IPL brings in, right? So, this over-aggression was not necessary by both the people, actually. You should learn from Dhoni how to keep calm and cool and then still win matches for India as well as for IPL. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ravi, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your point. Of course, these are all our viewers who've been calling in and wading into the controversy that has kicked in IPL 2023. We have more callers, in fact, who are calling us. We have our Murthy calling us from Chennai. Mr. Murthy, thank you very much for talking to us on Mirror Now. Go ahead and share with us your point of view.
Good evening, madam. The way they have behaved is not acceptable because they have been idols for so many players, so many youngsters are coming up. And money is not at all a problem for them. They have got bundles of notes, currencies, everything, properties, everything. Cutting 100% is not at all enough. Ban them for 1 or 2 matches. Let them behave properly. Bring it from the youngsters. What do they think? They can do any damn thing? And Virat Kohli is showing some action. Gambhir is showing some action. What is this they think? They can play anything, anywhere. They have to play only sportsman spirit game, that is cricket. Not this exchanging views and taking hands on everybody. This is not at all acceptable and they have to be punished so that it will be a standing example for all others to behave properly in the cricket ground.
Right, Mr. Murthy. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing with us your viewpoint about the same. Of course, all our viewers having different point of views in terms of who's right, who's wrong. But of course, the larger question that everyone's gone on to ask here is why is it that Gautam Gambhir as a mentor was even allowed to come onto the field? And, that's how this fight, of course, escalated. But like Veda was also telling us, we have seen numerous instances of face-offs like this in IPL. And this is, of course, the talking point in IPL 2023, which is the 16th edition. I understand I have another caller joining us, Victor from Bengaluru. Victor, good evening. Go ahead and share with us your point of view.
Hello. Yeah, they're both my favorite cricketers, both very passionate cricketers. But then let me be candid here. Gambhir should not have entered the field and interfered in this matter. That's all I feel.
Right, Victor. Thank you very much for sharing with us your point of view. All right. Those are, of course, all the reactions that are coming in. And, of course, we did have our guests also to share with us their viewpoint. But that's all that we have the time for on this particular story. But lots more to continue on Daily Mirror. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.